All right, so this is page 3 of your notes, and we have been talking about solving equations, but sometimes what we really need to do is be able to write an equation and then solve it. And so today we're going to focus on being able to write that equation, and then we'll finish it though and solve it, which helps us review solving equations, which is what we did last week. So at the top of your paper, we have different synonyms that you will find in word problems that mean addition, such as plus or add, more than, increase by, sum, altogether, total, or if it says combined, usually you're adding. And these are just some of the words that you might see. There could be other words for any of these that mean the same. For subtraction, we have less than, decrease by, minus, difference, fewer, or loss. Multiplication, times, per, each, and every are very, very popular. Product, or sometimes it could say twice. Twice is just a specific, meaning multiply by 2. And then for division, we could see the word quotient, shared equally, ratio, half, or a split. And then our equal sign words are is and same. So these are the ones I'm going to just kind of per, each, and every are your most important for multiplying. So our notes here, in order to write an equation, we first need to define your variables. Or variable. We're only going to be talking about one variable for each of these problems. And then we will write the equation, solve the equation, and interpret our solution. That means that we'll tell exactly what the problem is asking for. We'll be specific to the problem. So our examples here. Number 1, on a beach trip, Lucy rents a bike from Wheels by the Waves, where they rent bikes for $12 plus $3 per hour. If Lucy spent $30, how many hours did she rent the bike? Usually, your variable is written in the question. So the question here says, how many hours? That's your variable. That's what we are looking for. A variable is what you don't know. So you're trying to figure it out. So our variable here is hours. You can use the letter H for hours, which is what I'm going to do, or you could use any letter you want. So H equals the number of hours. You can't just write the word hours. Okay? Number of hours. And then we're going to go back through it, and we're going to find some key words. So here it says 12 plus. That's going to be part of our equation. Okay. Another thing is says $3 per hour. Per, there's your multiply word, 3H. Okay, and so if Lucy spent a total of $30, then that's our answer. So that's what our equation is going to equal. So our equation will look like $12 for the bike plus $3 per hour equals $30 total. And then we just solve it like we've been solving equations. We box in our variable. We subtract 12 to create a 0 pair. Bring down 3H equals 18. And then we divide both sides by the coefficient, which is 3. So H equals 6. And remember, H is hours, the number of hours. So our solution, anytime we write a solution for a word problem, I want you to write a complete sentence. So this one would read, Lucy rented the bike for 6 hours. Okay, number 2. Paul is scuba diving and is 3.5 feet below sea level. he is descending at a rate of 0.5 feet per minute. If Paul is now at 12 feet below sea level, how many minutes has he been diving? So again, the variable is in the question, how many minutes is what you are looking for. And I realized that we spelled this wrong. So how many minutes? Okay. To find the variable, I'm going to use m equals number of minutes. And then let's go back through the problem. So it did say 0.5 feet per minute, but there was also a key thing here that said it's descending, so it's going down. So that's your minus 0.5 feet per minute. Okay. Also, it said that he started out 3.5 feet below sea level. So if I'm below sea level, I'm a negative number. So I started at negative 3.5, and I am descending 0.5 m, 0.5 feet per minute. And then it says, when will he be at 12 feet below sea level? So I'm still underwater, so it's a negative 12. Now, minutes can't be a negative answer, so when I solve this equation and I put everything together, I should end up with a positive answer. So brick wall, box in your variable, add 3.5 to both sides to create your zero pair. Bring down your negative 0.5 m equals negative 8.5. And then we divide both sides by negative 0.5. So m equals 17. Interpret our solution. Okay. M is minutes, 17 minutes, but I want a sentence. So the question was, how many minutes has he been diving? So Paul has been diving for 17 minutes. All right, turn it over. Okay. Number 3, Hudson and Knox are in a race. Hudson is running at a speed of, another misspelled word there, a speed of 8.8 feet per second. Knox got a 30-foot head start and is running at a speed of 6.3 feet per second. How many seconds will it take until Hudson and Knox have ran the same number of feet? So, how many seconds? That's your variable. So I could use S for seconds, but sometimes that S looks funny, like it could be the number 5. So I'm going to just use X this time. X equals number of seconds. But this one's a little bit specific because we have 2 people that we are talking about. And so I'm going to box one of them and circle the other. So the first person we talked about was Hudson. He's running at a speed of 8.8 feet per second. There's your multiply word, per. Okay, so if I were to label Hudson, it would say 8.8x. And then we have Knox. He had a 30-foot head start and is running at a speed of 6.3 feet per second. So Knox would look like this, 30 plus 6.3x. And the question wants to know, when will Hudson be equal to Knox? When will they have the same number of feet? Okay, the same distance. So here we're just going to set it up. We're going to say Hudson, who is 8.8x, equals Knox, who is 30 plus 6.3x. Brick wall, we're going to subtract 6.3x to put all our variables together, and we're going to get 2.5x equals 30. And then we divide by the coefficient. So x equals 12. So remember, x is number of seconds. So this is saying 12 seconds. Okay. So how many seconds will it take until they have ran the same number of feet? And so our sentence here would say in 12 seconds, they will both be at the same distance. Now, what is that distance? You can figure it out by plugging your answer back in for each of them. So if I were to plug this in for x over here and here, let's figure out what it would be. So Hudson, I'm going to write over here, is 8.8 times 12, which gives us 105.6 feet. And Knox would be 30 plus 6.3 times 12, which also equals 105.6 feet. So by plugging it back in, we can tell where they're at, and they're at the same distance. Number 4, Graham is hiking at an altitude of 14,040 feet and is descending 50 feet each minute. Max is hiking at an altitude of 12,500 feet and is ascending 20 feet each minute. How many minutes will it take Graham and Max to meet at the same altitude? So, again, if we're looking through this, it says the question, how many minutes? That's your variable. I'm going to use m equal number of minutes. And again, this time we're talking about 2 people. So I have Graham, who is hiking at an altitude of 14,040 feet. That's his starting. And he is descending 50 feet each minute. There's your multiply word, each. Okay. And so if I were to write out an equation for Graham, it would be 14,040 minus 50m. Okay, now we can talk about Max. Max is hiking at an altitude of 12,500 and is ascending 20 feet each minute. There's your multiply word again. Okay, descending was how I know to make a minus. Ascending is your plus. So Max equals 12,500 plus 20m. And it wants to know, when are they the same? When are they equal? So when does Graham equal Max? So we have 14,040 minus 50m. When does that equal Max, who is 12,500 plus 20m? Brick wall, we're going to minus, actually I'm going to add 50m to both sides to keep everything positive. So 14,040 equals 12,500 plus 70m. Then I'm going to subtract 12,500, because if I box in my variable, that's what stays. And this gives me 1,540 equals 70m. And then we divide by 70, and I get 22 equals m. So remember, this is your minutes. This is saying in 22 minutes, they will be at the same altitude. But what is that altitude? You figure that out by plugging 22 back in for m. So I'm going to come over here and do it. And for gram, it's 14,040 minus 50 times 22, which equals 12,940. Then if I plug it in for max, I get 12,500 plus 20m, or 20 times 22, which also gives us 12,940. Okay, so at what altitude will Gram and Max meet? In 22 minutes, they will both be at an altitude of 12,940 feet. Okay, last one. 2 more than a certain number. That certain number, if you don't know what it is, that's your x. Okay, 2 more means I'm going to add 2 to something. Is your equal sign. 15 less means I'm going to take away 15, and then I have the product of 3 and a number. So product of 3 and a number is your x. So your equation here is x plus 2, because I like to put 2 more at the end, equals 3x minus 15. I'm taking 15 away from 3x. Brick wall minus 1x. I have 2 equals 2x minus 15. Add 15 to both sides. I get 17 equals 2x and divide by 2. That leaves me a fraction. Leave it as a fraction. Okay, don't change it to a decimal.